Yeah, how's it going out there, everyone? Hope you're doing all right. I got my buddy Brian here helping out. How's it going over there, Brian?
Going good.
The stream's working?
Someone called out Childish Gambino. Was that?
That
Nice.
was. And a real quick joke in my, I did the top 10 riffs of 2010s. And actually, I'm quite proud of it because I think it actually was one of the funnier videos I've done, because the joke was, I'll never forget where I was when I first heard this song. I was sitting at my desk behind my computer when I got an email about the song. And every single song is saying, I'll never forget where I was. I was, sorry, I'm loading up my katana here. So the video today, I wanted to talk about, just get a little bit more into getting tones right now with the super affordable katana amp, Boss Katana. I don't know how many people have one out there, but they're really affordable. And one of the fun things about it, especially if you're like a bedroom guitar player, and this video right now is not being sponsored. This is not sponsored. I have been working with Boss. This is not a sponsored video, so I'm just talking about the amp in general. And especially doing so many different types of tutorials, you can download patches. And there's this little interface. You use your laptop, and you can find patches for free. There's also patches that you can buy for like $5. I've already created a bunch of patches that are available for free as well. So just an example, the amp itself has a clean channel, an acoustic channel, so you can play acoustic with it, a crunch channel, a lead channel, and then a channel called brown. Brian, I don't think we're going to do the brown sound today.
No, the brown note?
No. But you can, dial in different sounding channels, and if you come up with one that you really like, you can save it and you can share it with other people, and vice versa. So, like, that was the Childish Gambino Redbone tune, and it's a patch. And not only is it just a patch, but you can actually go into the interface and you can see what it is that's making the effect. So it's on clean. It's got a T-wah on it, which is an auto wah. And then it's also got some tape echo and some reverb. And I could change any of those settings to my liking, but it comes right like that. So you can dial in your own tones, or you can find patches, which is actually really fun. So for instance, here's Bright Lights by Gary Clark Jr. And Someone from Boss made this patch actually. And then they also made the actual fuzz lead tone from and it's super fun, especially for the more hard rock kind of. So actually, let me plug directly in so we can get the true. How's it going, Brian?
Good.
Can you see the comments on your phone?
I can.
So you're just watching the YouTube live stream on
Both.
your phone?
Yes.
Any, Brian's looking at your comments for me, you guys. Thank you for that, Brian. Any important questions or anything?
Not really. Unlikely Hero says he has an OCD about wearing shirts with buttons while playing guitar because he's afraid of scratching his guitar.
There is a real phenomenon called buckle rash. That's the scratchings and wear on the back of the guitar.
Some people probably like it though.
Well, it definitely means it's been played a lot, but hey, man, that's the cool thing. It's your guitar. And you're pretty much free to do what you want. Brian Smith, how are you?
Good. I don't think Brian knows that one. Is that Megadeth? I know it has the word marionette in it.
Marionette. It does have the word marionette.
What is that?
It's Symphony of Destruction by Megadeth.
I got it, Megadeth.
Yeah?
And I just know the part about marionette.
Mm. When was Brian Smith listening to Megadeth?
Never. Things just stick in my mind.
Yeah. But so anyway, the thing with the, I can close it. Let's say I don't even have a computer to download patches or to, tweak it on the computer. The other way I use this amp, actually, not that way, but I just dialed in myself a clean, I've got my basic clean tone, so then I can do, what I normally used to do and use a looper pedal, my Schwarzenegger overdrive. I also have a really nice little prototype delay that I'm messing with. Real subtle. But so when I use a looper, I just use the clean channel and then overdrive it with a pedal, because when you have a looper, the effects in the Katana are built into the Katana. So anything I loop, whatever effects are in the Katana still come after the loop. So whatever effect I have on the Katana is going to affect the loop that's playing back. But it's got a great clean channel, and you can absolutely use it like it was just like a Fender tube amp or whatever, and use an overdrive pedal.
got a question from Suzanne Wilner.
Oh, hey, Suzanne. I really appreciate Suzanne Wilner and the support she's shown for so long now. Yeah.
So Suzanne asks, where do I place my octave pedal? Is that okay between Blues Driver and Looper?
Well, I assume you're... And hey, Suzanne. And just for the record, Brian had his finger on the phone that's filming this, and I was worried that there was some dilemma going on or something. I didn't know what's going on. But octave pedal, I assume if you're wanting to use it as like a bass line kind of thing, which I don't have one set up right now, but I assume if you were wanting to do that, you're going to want basically, I mean, it can go before the Blues Driver or after the Blues Driver, because hopefully what you're doing is you're just using it for the looper and then playing the lead without it. Sorry, my brain's working here. But if you wanted the overdrive and the octave together, I would put the octave, I guess, geez, man, that's a tough one because I've done it both ways. In my mind, I'm thinking I usually put it after the overdrive. But I would try it both ways. You definitely want it before the looper, and you also want it before a delay pedal. But it can interchange with overdrive. And then if you have a wah pedal, typically the wah pedal goes first. So if I'm looking down, my right, your left, typically the wah pedal goes first. The only thing that would go before a wah pedal, there's two things that might go before a wah pedal. That'd be a volume pedal and a digital tuner, and that's really it. Neither of which I typically use when I'm playing about and whatnot. What I do have though is just to go back to when I close my computer, it doesn't interface anymore. But you gotta like redo it. But that's not what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna go to my live stream so I can see some of the comments. Dial in the perfect tone. See the magic the thumbnail is created and everything. I get the best help. Oh, should we give Guitar Tricks a quick plug on the ad before everyone's seen that now? Aren't YouTube guitar lessons just terrible? I salute that man. Josh Norco, thanks for the super chat. He says, thanks again for all the vids and live streams. Dude, that's so nice. Thank you. And then another super chat. Wow, so kind. Richard Gent. Gentleman. Richard Gent, the gentleman. Thank you, sir. Brian, do you see super chats?
I sure do.
Okay, so when and if there's a super chat, you gotta let me know, or like wave your hand in the air and let me know, because I gotta say thanks. It's just polite.
It's the right thing to do.
Okay, so I've added a new responsibility to Brian's job here today, you guys.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Joshua.
And Ghetto Archer said, Ghetto Archer, hi. Scott Taylor says he is broke, and I feel for you, and you don't have to do any super chats. In fact, I'm talking to you right now without a super chat. So,
Sam Newland, we like that.
Sam Newland. It's funny that you mentioned Mixolydian soloing like Jerry, because I actually call that the Brian Smith scale, which is here behind the camera.
Thank you, Doug Schooley.
Doug Schooley. All right, they just got the Boss Katana 100. That's a great way to go, Doug Schooley. Great way to go. And Ethan, shout out to Ethan out there. Thank you. Oh, so the Brian Smith scale, also known as Mixolydian. Actually, there was a cool... just for fun. Oh, let's see. Brian. We're adding another job for Brian.
Thank you, Ben Gist.
Ben, dude, he got scammed out of guitar, so now he got him Epiphone Les Paul. Never seen him cry before until that moment. Wow. I like those stories. I consider these live streams a little escape from the BS of the world. We all have a common love of playing guitar, hopefully. So that's what we're here for. Brian, can you hand me one of those capos that's on that clip up there, on the light clip? You just got to unclip it like a clothespin. Yeah! So the Brian Smith scale, Brian Smith is here. I think it's on this.
Why do you call it the Brian Smith scale?
I'll explain it. Mostly in tune. Listen to that. Nice little delay and. Okay, so it's called the Brian Smith scale because Brian here is one of the biggest music fans, musicologists, appreciator of music history, and plus I think his taste in music is really good. His taste here has helped develop my taste over the years too by sharing stuff with me. Right, Brian?
I try to share the things I love.
Yeah, Brian and I go way back in history, but the Brian Smith scale. Oh, the other thing about Brian Smith here, that's behind the camera, is that he doesn't. You're not really a musician.
A collector.
You're a collector. You don't play music or like say, oh, I know what the Mixolydian scale is. You probably even know more than you expected just from being here in the live streams or being friends with me. Teaching guitar so much. But I call the Mixolydian scale the Brian Smith scale because Brian would always point out his favorite little sections and songs a lot. Not music theory studying, but just say, oh, listen, I love this part. Oh, I love this Jerry Garcia solo right here. And you would say all these things that he would point out how much he loved them, they all had in common that they were usually the Mixolydian scale. So you just love that sound. I love it too. Yeah. It's still like happy, but like a little edge to it. It's not the major scale, so. Doesn't that sound like, the mall on Christmas? But if I play a little. I'm adding some blues notes too, but all of a sudden you get this, what's called Mixolydian. And let's see. I gotta remember it. So that chord progression, let's see. Damn it. There we go. Drop my pick. So that's a progression that revolves around a G, an F, and a C, which is the classic Mixolydian relationship of chords. So if I play that progression again, maybe I'll add a little bass line. First, I'll just play the Mixolydian scale over that. See, it's the major scale with one half step off. So the major scale would sound like this. But Mixolydian's that scale with a flat seventh. The last note of the scale before it becomes the octave is a half step lower, and it adds a little edge to it. Blues Traveler. Anyway. Oh, boy. Cheers, everyone. I got my coffee going. Thank you to Brian. Did I miss anything, Brian?
Josh Norcote says that half step makes a world of difference. And then there's a question, when you went into that demonstration, why did you switch guitars?
Oh, because I was just thinking of the when someone asked Mixolydian, just the first thing that came to my mind was that John Mayer song, because I just, you know.
That's a John Mayer song? That's a great guitar line.
Just found out the ghost left town. The Queen of California is. That was why I thought of it, because he literally, and I talked about it in, I think, my 2010s top riffs of the 2010s video. I think that one's in there. So I really just, it was on my mind recently, and when someone said Mixolydian, I just chuckled that this, in the song, one of the little riffs is literally just going down the scale. So I just think of that. I was trying to think of, you know, something non-Grateful Dead, but there's tons of Mixolydian that, like, you wouldn't expect, actually, like in heavy metal, rock. Not as common as, like, the straight minor scale, but it's escaping me right now, but there was something recently that was Mixolydian scale, and I was like, yes, God, this is awesome, because it's not Grateful Dead sounding, or even, like, folky rock sounding. It was something like a different genre. Can't remember right now. I'll try and remember. But yeah, I thought of it because of that. I also thought of it because I just have enjoyed the little acoustic channel on this. I might as well segue in with the acoustic and say, you know, it's a shameless plug at this point, but tomorrow at midnight ends a 40% off discount I have on my acoustic blues set, and I honestly didn't grab my acoustic because of that. If I really wanted to plug it, I would have been the first thing I said today in the stream. Don't you think, Brian?
I think
it's
so.
like 40 minutes in now I'm mentioning it, so not a big deal. But basically, yeah, 40% off my acoustic blues set, which is like acoustic blues, of course, but then also the caged system, which a lot of people like to learn about. Really helps you master the fretboard, you know, and you know how bad those YouTube videos are. So this is a way to you know, leave YouTube and check out courses that are on a website instead of YouTube, because what happens? Most YouTube lessons are terrible. They teach you wrong, and they're mean, and you won't like that. And look at how nice I am as I say that. The guy's like really intense in that commercial. Sorry. I'll probably meet that guy someday at the NAMM show or something, and I think it'll be okay. I'm not offended. They're actually paying to run that ad. Am I all right, Brian?
You're doing good.
I think the coffee's starting to...
Josh Norco was just talking about how he loves his Marty Music mug.
Oh, dude, thank you, Josh Norco. That's so nice of you. Oh, you know what I have? It's out there in the garage, so I can't get it. Prototype pick tins.
Pick tins.
You know?
Never seen a pick tin.
Well, you know, like when you open up a little thing of mints.
Yes.
It's like that. It looks like that, but it says Marty Music on it. You can keep you put your picks in it. Anyone know? You put your picks in it.
Somebody's really hankering for a lesson on Shock Me.
Shock Me?
Yeah. Because of your Paul Stanley impression was so good a couple weeks ago.
I don't even remember. You weren't here last Saturday. What did I even do?
I don't know. But you did a fantastic... You did Hendrix. How do you move from playing pentatonic scale solos to chromatic?
Man, if I could go back in time, I could turn back town. Dude, the pentatonic, being able to zip and zap up and down the neck with the minor pentatonic and the major pentatonic, if you keep working on that, the chromatics, the half steps, the modes, everything will become so much easier. And the tastiest notes and the notes that are the most common in soloing are those pentatonic notes. They also form a really nice, like, structured, like, visualization of the fretboard that then you can add other things around but still see it. You know what I mean? Brian, what'd you put in this coffee? No. Just kidding. Brian does not.
Someone just asked that question.
Brian does not make my coffee. Let's put it that way. I'm just going to do a few shout-outs because we've been here long enough. Brian, we've been here long enough. Suzanne Wilner, thanks again. Rodam Dahan in Israel, thanks for watching. Joshin Crow, when am I going to make a tour in Europe? Well, without giving anything away, I was actually supposed to go to Europe this summer for some really cool, beyond imaginable collaboration. Collaboration I never would have imagined in my life with one of my musical heroes. And something's still going to happen in that regard, but I won't be going to Europe this summer. So I'd say realistically, if the world gets even just a little bit more on track with the COVID-19 and all that, I'd love to be in Europe next summer, a year from this summer. I know what I'm going to be doing for my job for the next, hopefully at least 5 to 10 years, and it's this. Yes, it's this. Mike Picariello. Designs.
Do you have any Jane's Addiction lessons?
On Marty Music, I don't think I have yet. Is someone asking?
Yeah. And I wasn't sure I'd ever seen one.
I've definitely done them before.
They've got some cool songs.
Here we go! Start talking about Jane's Addiction, you get Mrs. Schwartz excited.
Yeah?
Yeah, I better not play the riffs too loud. She'll come in here.
They had some cool scenes.
They did, man. They did. It's funny to go back and listen to, is that our timer? Is that the network saying, is that your boss, Brian? Speaking of bosses, that's the same person I was talking about, my boss, Mrs. Schwartz. She's not watching this right now. But, Jane's Addiction. Yeah, that is definitely, my wife likes that a lot. She likes Dave Navarro and the whole thing. Something that's kind of cool is Perry Farrell follows me on Instagram. I think that's pretty sick. I definitely love them. It's funny, I think of that Ritual de lo Habitual. That album just connects me into our friend Don Golden's Forerunner. Because he used to drive me to school in the morning because he got his license first and my house was on the way. And that album, whenever that album came out, that was like every single morning, that album was on every single morning for about 3 or 4 months. Josh Norco, Scarlet Begonias for an outro. Joshy baby. Yeah, I think I could probably figure that out since I already played it once in the live stream today. Derek Somnus, thanks. Tim Allen, thank you. Stone, how do you get the cleanest tone on a Strat without pedals? Less gain, more master volume. I would put the treble at 12 o'clock, the bass at 12 o'clock, the mids at 12 o'clock, presence at 12 o'clock, and then it really depends on what amp you have. But, start there, and then the basic fundamentals, though, is like, let's see, you have gain and you have level. So if I turn my gain all the way up on a clean channel, and my volume down, it's not as clean as turning the level or the volume up as much as you can with the gain down lower. Giving the publishers a feeding frenzy on they're gonna have to fight over who gets to claim this live stream, the amount of riffs I've played. Crazy Colin wants a shout out pretty bad, but you know what, Crazy Colin? I'm not giving you a shout out, Crazy Colin. Why would I say your name out loud, Crazy Colin? Adam Fox, Don't Let Me Down. Yep, that's what it was. And I like to say, well, I think most of you know this already, but Don't Let Me Down was the first like conscious YouTube video, conscious YouTube video, or first YouTube video that I consciously made to just throw out onto the world and see what would happen. It was a decision I had made a certain day when I got laid off from a job teaching elementary school music, went home into this garage. Now, it wasn't set up this way, but this is, even before YouTube, this was my little man cave. This is like a one-car garage back here, and I put a wall in, so it's like a room. I came in this very room, and I don't know, what was that? Is that my phone?
No.
Was that your phone?
This is my watch.
Oh, your watch. Is it time for you to pee?
No.
Is it your pee break?
Don't Let Me Down makes me think of Jamie and you now.
Which I love too, but no, it was just the first that conscious decision to start trying to make YouTube videos to just see what would happen, and it was that song. So I always when I don't do a lot of gigs, when I do like one of my own gigs, I always do that song. And Jamie, my buddy Jamie Allensworth, kills it. Like so many other things he kills. Mixolydian Franklin's Tower solo. What's so funny about that is it's this exact same chord sequence as Queen of California. So without a capo, Queen of California is B. So B, A, and E, which is the same relationship as A, G, and D. Oh, Brian's head's moving. He doesn't know why. It's the scale. So a scale, I want to be very clear with you guys. The sound of a scale is the same sound of the scale is the same sound you should hear in the actual chord progression. So when I hear, I'm hearing that the DNA of that chord progression is A mixolydian. No other notes than the 7 notes of A mixolydian make up the notes of the chords of the progression. So you almost get that chicken or the egg thing, and they're one and the same. Brian, yeah, good?
Yep. I love Dirty Boulevard, Greg.
Oh, is there Deadhead on?
Yeah, but it's a Lou Reed song.
Okay, cool.
And I do love it.
Tyler Hall says Lydian ? Lydian is mostly used in like soundtrack. That's Lydian. Back to the Future, anyone? Oh, quick question, because Back to the Future came on, and they Back to the Future 2 was on Netflix or whatever, and he goes to the future, which is 2015. So anyone that's familiar with that movie, would you rather be in the 2015 of Back to the Future or the 2015 of this timeline? Ponder amongst you all. A couple more shout outs. Whoops. Stone, what's up, Stone? Chris Johns, Henry Coldrain, Red Sox fan. Once bitten, twice shy, babe. Yeah, that's a good one. My. Roberto F is saying, "What's on your pedal board?" I don't have a pedal board down here right now, but I have my Schwarzenegger overdrive, and I've got a prototype delay that I'm messing with, and the looper. That's all. All the effects are in the Katana right now. Simon Zanders needs a shout out for Leo, who is 12 tomorrow. Leo, happy birthday tomorrow. My son happens to be 12 as well. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to end with this jam because it just felt right before. Brian's head started like bopping, so I have to finish that. Garuko, how do you shred, Marty? No, Garuko, how do you shred? You first, bro. You first. You shred. I don't hear anything.
Adam Fox wants the flying skateboards.
Good point. Good point. What's it called? The Mandela effect? Who else out there related to that? You have to be more my age and Brian's age, but who else out there remembers someone going like, no, my dad has a friend who like works and this guy knows this guy, and those are real. Those hoverboards are real. They're just too dangerous to come out. My friend's dad has a friend who works for Mattel, and they developed it, blah, blah, blah. So anyone remember that? Because that was something that definitely went around during that movie. All right, so we're going to do a jam. Incubus, nice. Simon Zanders. Fender Squire, yeah. They're going by pretty quick. Boss Katana versus Marshall Code 50, Roberto. Well, I think you know my answer. I haven't played a Marshall Code 50, but I'm actually helping release song patches for the Katana. So you got to do the Katana, man, because there's going to be more of them in the future. So definitely hang around for that. Hayden Potter, happy 13th birthday. Good, oh, nice. A good beginner song. Look up my channel, Marty Music, and look under some beginner playlists. And just look for titles that look like a song you like. Ozzy Farrow, thanks for your continued support. You've been supporting forever. Stone says, any timeline that includes a dude in a fedora jamming with a red guitar. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, appreciate your support, you guys. Hang tight. Much love to you. Sorry, I'm just looking at comments. Garrick Pridemore, always thank you. All right.